Walking is the best way to lose weight and body fat. There, I said it. Walking is the laziest and most effective way to lose body fat. Why? Because it is literally the most accessible and easily sustainable habit that you can create. Obviously, doing intense jump rope workouts is going to burn more calories, but you have to have the mentality that you want to exercise to do that. Whereas the barrier to entry for walking is like, you don't even have to think about it. It doesn't feel like exercise at all. You put your shoes on, you go, you walk somewhere, and that's how you burn calories. In today's video, I'm gonna explain to you why you are absolutely shooting yourself in the foot if you're trying to lose weight and body fat and you're not walking. I'm gonna get into a little bit of scientifically why walking is so effective for specifically fat loss, but then also why on this channel, we always talk about trying to make fitness and weight loss more accessible and easy for people to complete. And walking is one of those things that I've never dedicated an entire video to just being like, honestly, if you just walked more, you'd probably get to your goal weight a lot faster than if you're not walking. Using myself as an example, whenever I have been my absolute leanest, it's always when I'm walking a bunch. Specifically, if I'm in an area where I'm walking up hills or like with a slight incline, I'm always my leanest. This always happens too on vacation, where even if I'm eating more indulgent food, if I'm walking a bunch, I'm able to stay leaner, or that process is a lot easier. And by the way, my training has not changed for the last 10 to 15 years. Like, what I mean is I've been doing super intense workouts involving jump rope, push-ups, pull-ups, sometimes weightlifting. I've been training super hard for a very long time, but my body fat fluctuates depending on if my body fat is low. It's usually because I'm also walking a bunch in addition to doing my workouts. First, I want to give you guys the scientific explanation of why walking is so effective for fat loss, but then I'm going to get into some of the other reasons why I think it's mentally such a great thing to do if you want to lose weight. And then make sure to stick around for the last one, because there's a really interesting documentary that I've seen that talks about why walking is so good for not only weight loss, but your longevity. All right, so first off, just go to Google and type in walking is better than running for fat loss. You're gonna find a bunch of information talking about the fact that when you are walking, your body is using its slow twitch muscle fibers, which use body fat as their fuel source. So basically, when you're doing slower movement like walking cardio, your body's like, oh, dude, we're gonna go and burn body fat. When you are doing more intense exercise or using those fast twitch muscle fibers like you would do in a very intense jump rope workout, your body's primary fuel source is glucose. So basically what that means is when you go to do a super intense sprint workout or jump rope workout, weightlifting or whatever, your body's like, okay, we're being intense, we're using our fast twitch fibers, we're gonna be burning glucose instead of body fat. When you're just walking, your body's not burning glucose, it's going to be targeting your body fat as its fuel source. Now, the caveat here is obviously doing more intense exercise is going to burn an overall greater amount of calories, which also leads to losing lots of body fat. You're gonna burn less calories while walking, but again, it's specifically been said or stated to burn body fat instead of glucose. To be honest with you, I don't really care about the science. I don't really care about the studies. I'm even skeptical of that scientific explanation, because I still firmly believe that as long as you are creating a calorie deficit, that is truly how your body is going to burn body fat, and that's how you're going to be able to lose weight. And then the second, more obvious scientific explanation is that if you are also walking in addition to doing your regular workouts, your total number of calories that you're burning every day is going to be much higher than if you're just doing, 30 minutes of exercise every day. If you're doing 30 minutes of exercise every day and you're walking, again, your total caloric burn for that day is going to be higher, making it easier to stick to a calorie deficit, which is how you ultimately lose body fat and lose weight. Speaking of things that help you lose weight that are easy, like walking, we also made a free PDF called The Only 10 Things That Matter for Weight Loss. It's sort of our guide for like the most basic things that you can do that contribute to you being able to lose weight and live a healthy lifestyle that don't require a lot of money or time or supplements or anything like that. I use this kind of as like my meter for like, as long as I'm doing these 10 things, there's not really much else outside of this that I need to be doing to be my optimal self. So enter your email. There's a link here on the screen to get that PDF. You can print it out, put it on your wall or something. So that's cool and all, like scientifically why walking is said to be so good for burning body fat. But the reason I really feel that it's one of the best things you can do for burning body fat and losing weight is because it doesn't feel like exercise. That is the biggest takeaway that I want you to get from this video. You don't have to get into the mindset of like, okay, I gotta work out a couple times this week. Like, I feel like people have a tough time losing weight because they build it up as this event. Like, oh, tonight I have to eat healthy and it's gonna be like not very delicious and kind of boring. Or, oh, I have to find the motivation to go to the gym after work. The reason that walking works so well is because it's so accessible. You don't have to even have the mindset like, I need to find motivation. You can be having the worst, saddest, most unmotivated day, and you can still put your shoes on and just go for a walk, and you're gonna burn calories that way. And one other thing that I've said on this channel a lot is the workout that's gonna be the most effective for you is going to be the one that you will consistently do. The issue, to be honest, that people have with jump rope is that before you can burn a bunch of calories and have super intense workouts, you have to have the motivation to acquire the skill of jumping rope. Because if you're tripping on your feet all the time, you're gonna get frustrated and probably give up. And if you're tripping on your feet all the time, you're gonna be breaking your exercise and you're not gonna be burning as many calories. Just with that analogy alone, losing a lot of weight through jump rope is kind of a challenging thing because you have to develop the skill first. If your goal is to lose weight through walking, it's way easier because you do it every day. You just start walking, you don't have to think about it. And because it's so easy, chances are if you start walking, you'll come back and complete the habit the next day or keep the habit going. Another reason I think walking is so great is because it becomes a catalyst for doing other things. Sometimes if I'm not feeling great, like physically, if I'm feeling kind of tight and I go for a walk, it acts as a warm up. So it gives me enough energy to be like, you know what? I am gonna go do a jump rope workout now because I'm nice and warmed up. Or, you know, I wasn't gonna surf, but now since I've been out in the sun and I'm walking, I feel like I have the motivation and energy to go do that. Another great reason you should be walking is because it acts as a way of getting you out the door so that you can start your movement and overall calorie burn for that day. Another thing too, it can improve your mood, you know, helping you make better decisions about your health throughout the day. I notice sometimes I've struggled with depression pretty much my whole life. When I am in a depressed state and I'm just sitting here in my condo and I'm not doing anything, it's really hard for me to get out of that depressed state. If I'm not feeling well and I start to go outside and I just change my environment and go on a walk, that typically leads to me having new things firing in my brain, new thoughts, new ideas, and it kind of, not always, but sometimes it does really improve my mood. And then I might have a better day because I decided to go on a walk, or I might decide to work out because I went on a walk, or I might decide not to sit inside and eat ice cream that day because I decided to go out and go on a walk and maybe eat something a little bit healthier. Yeah, so honestly, walking is the laziest way that you can get fit. And I would highly recommend, if you are someone who has a bunch of weight to lose, walking is the first thing you should be doing before you even think about jumping rope. In addition to that, if you're someone who is working out regularly and you're eating good, you know, you're following all the things that we talk about on this channel, but you have that like extra 5-10 pounds to lose, walking can also help with that. In addition to your workouts and diet, it can kind of put you over the edge and get you exactly to where you want to be in terms of your goal weight. Another thing that's great about walking is I am a big believer that most people's diseases come from sitting still. When your blood is not flowing properly, it just is bad for your cells, it's bad for your arteries. I believe that getting up and walking around consistently, something as simple as walking, is very effective in preventing things like heart disease, cancers, all kinds of things that you get from just sitting in one place. So not only do I think that walking is good for your physique, but I also just think it's good for your joints, for your organs, for not just looking good, but actually living a long life. Which brings me to my last point. There's a documentary on Netflix from 2023 called Live to 100. It's basically about areas in the world where there's a high concentration of centenarians, or people living to be 100 or above. And one of the episodes is about Sardinia in Italy. And the whole episode is basically about how there's so many people who live to be over 100 because they're living on a mountainside. There's no access with a car, so they just have to walk up and down these hills every day. Not only are a lot of these people in this documentary, like a lot of these 90-year-olds are like perfectly fit and lean, they're not obese in the slightest, you find out that a big reason for them living to be so old is just because they're walking all the time. Guys, that's my spiel on walking. Get out there, walk, in addition to doing all the jump rope and bodyweight exercise workouts on this channel. Comment below, let's talk about it, and I'll see you on the next video.